Long before Europe charted the globe or Faraday described electromagnetic induction, the Olmec civilization, emerging around 1500 BCE along the Gulf Coast of present-day Mexico, began manipulating a force few yet understood: magnetism. Among their many stoneworks, certain basalt artifacts showed peculiar properties. Some pointed north when suspended, others influenced iron-rich sands or changed orientation when moved. These anomalies were not overlooked. They were tested, replicated, and eventually integrated into design. By 1000 BCE, Olmec engineers had begun identifying basalt deposits from the Tuxtla Mountains, igneous rocks dense with magnetic potential. These were not selected for sculptural beauty but for directional force. A project was conceived to embed these stones, aligned and intentional, within the heart of a ceremonial platform. Over decades they moved immense blocks 80 miles across river and terrain. What they built they eventually buried under a great earth pyramid. But in its prime it lay exposed, a giant magnetic platform and two massive magnetic walls, all aligned perpendicular to each other with persistent directional force. This was not decoration, this was structure, a triadic configuration capable of generating a stable magnetic field, a place not just of ritual, but of controlled physical behavior. Centuries passed. The Olmec legacy faded, absorbed into the cultural matrix of later Mesoamerican peoples. Among these, the Maya emerged as master astronomers and mathematicians. They inherited ruins, legends, and subtle architectural alignments. What they lacked in records they intuited through geometry. To them, the remnants of the triadic magnetic structure were not technological, they were symbolic. Yet the deeper logic persisted, in calendars, in rituals, in the cyclical obsession with return and alignment. The long count, beginning in 3114 BCE and culminating in 2012 CE, was not a countdown to apocalypse but to event, to arrival. They had no name for the object, but they remembered its absence, and from absence they derived time. In the modern era, the site known as La Venta was surveyed by archaeologists and geophysicists. In 1969, a magnetic anomaly was detected beneath Mound A2, a tightly bound, sharply defined field unlike any recorded at similar sites. In the modern era, the site known as La Venta was surveyed by archaeologists and geophysicists. In 1969, a magnetic anomaly was detected beneath Mound A2, a tightly bound, sharply defined field unlike any recorded at similar sites. Analysis revealed 3 buried basalt blocks, magnetized and oriented with unnatural precision. The scientific team concluded the formation was intentional, likely constructed to harness magnetic properties, but no excavation followed. The anomaly was recorded, published, and, well, forgotten. As pipelines were laid and museums built, the field continued its quiet broadcast, unchanged, unheeded. Then, in 2025, a small metallic sphere fell near Buga, Colombia. It made no crater, it burned no trees. It arrived silently, precisely, as if completing a journey rather than beginning one. Its shape was spherical, its surface was seamless, its purpose unclear. Then, in 2025, a small metallic sphere fell near Buga, Colombia. It made no crater, it burned no trees. It arrived silently, precisely, as if completing a journey rather than beginning one. Its shape was spherical, its surface was seamless, its purpose unclear. No nation claimed it, no agency tracked it, yet its orientation was flawless, its coding pristine, its behavior uncannily inertial, as if built not for function but for return. And in that moment a thread invisible across centuries pulled taut. For the sphere, encoded without words but bound by field and form, matched the invisible architecture hidden beneath La Venta. Only in retrospect can we see it clearly. The Olmecs built not a temple but a field engine, a configuration that generated a coherent, stable magnetic zone. Into this triadic space they placed a sphere, internally charged, aligned to vectors, awaiting only the impulse. Only in retrospect can we see it clearly. The Olmecs built not a temple but a field engine, a configuration that generated a coherent, stable magnetic zone. Into this triadic space they placed a sphere, internally charged, aligned to vectors, awaiting only the impulse. With a triggered discharge, chemical, piezoelectric, or otherwise, the field converted into motion. No fire, no thrust, only force, structured, directed, sufficient to lift. The object launched into sky, into orbit, into memory. The Maya, inheriting the void left behind, shaped time around its return, not knowing what it was, but knowing when it would be. And in 2025, the sphere came back, completing a journey not of mythology, but of physics. It did not crash, it returned, not as anomaly, but as confirmation. It is not alien, it is ancient, not inexplicable, engineered. A closed causal system, geometry, force, time, return.